What you cooking, man?
Good morning, fellas. What's up?
Good morning.
Dude, how we doing? That intro get you fired up, Michael Lombard?
Yeah, dude. Fresh new intro, fresh new week, Tuesday. Some pretty tight stuff. Let's go.
I know. Fresh holiday coming up. Got Thanksgiving in a week. And yeah, man, everything's good. Nick, what's going on, my friend? How are you doing?
Man, I am rested. I am just happy to be here.
Well, man, it's good to be with you guys as well. Week 2 of the regeneration of Iron Minds. Good to see everybody out there. If you're up this morning, if you're doing something to move your body, congratulations. You're already ahead of the game. I got to do some stretching today, boys. I was in a musical this weekend, a little production of Newsies. I'll tell you what, I didn't do the dancing, the tap dancing, because I'm the old guy, one of the old guys in the musical. But moving sets around and it was just a constant activity for 2.5 hours, and did that 5 times in 4 days, 2 shows on Friday. And then after the show on Sunday, we did strike, which I'd never done before, which means you have to tear the whole set apart. I was like carrying wood and like just breaking everything down, which was also incredibly emotionally sad as well, because we had such a great time. But it's amazing how just different activities in life are still pretty strenuous, even if you don't think they are. And something like doing a musical is pretty fun. It was a good time. It was a good time.
I mean, many people don't know, but I'm a former theater guy myself from high school. And
What?
yeah, I did a couple plays in high school. I was in one musical. I just had a speaking role in The Man of La Mancha. But yeah, I was a lead in 2 plays. I did Christmas Carol my sophomore year, played Scrooge senior year. It was John Falstaff in The Merry Wives of Windsor. And I'll tell you, you want to talk about an iron mind. Is for The Merry Wives of Windsor, I actually had to wear a fat suit. So I had to wear, if only I played the part in 2017, I wouldn't have needed a suit. But I had to wear the fat suit. And I mean, there was 2.5 page Shakespearean monologues. So you want to talk about like being on your feet while also presenting Shakespeare, like speaking in that form of English is like mental gymnastics.
Dude, absolutely. And you can't look like you're doing the mental gymnastics. You have to look like it's natural. You have to look like this is the first time you've ever said it. Like the first time it's ever come into your mind, and that you're just saying it for the first time live. You have to make it look like that. And you start to learn these little tricks, or you do it, but it's very difficult. By the way, speaking of which, Michael Lombard, I saw a picture of you on your Instagram recently, before and after. And I got to tell you, dude, I don't even recognize the dude before. I think you're lying. I don't think that's you. I don't.
There's so many different. I know in a couple of years when things start to take off, there's probably going to be body double conspiracy theories.
There are. I guarantee you there are, because it doesn't look anything like you. It is amazing how, you were what, 240? What was it? What was the high you got to?
I mean, I was pushing 280 almost at one point, like 278.
I mean, like what it does to your face. Just like it just makes you look like a different person. It's just,
I never realized how much it hides expressions. Like, even if you look at Goggins before and after, right? That's what I kept thinking, how your before picture, there was just nobody there.
Yeah, right. It's just bloated balloon. Yeah, very few characteristics, no jawline, no. Yeah, exactly. I noticed it whenever I shaved for this part, because as you can see, I'm rocking the Lombard mustache, which I have to say, Michael, my wife's not a fan of. She asked me to grow it back immediately. But Like
It was-
just like whenever I shave my face off, you start to see the extra weight. You start to see, the extra weight that I'm carrying around that I need to drop. And so it really is interesting what having extra weight will do for you.
Bro, it sneaks up on you because when I was up to 240, I was the last to know. Like,
Yeah.
I knew I was out of shape. I knew things didn't fit well, but you never quite realize how far you've drifted at the time. It really
Right.
took, it was a physical look in the mirror after seeing a comparison of me to my friends. And I'm like, when did this happen?
Yeah, exactly. Michael Lombard, where you headed, my friend? Ooh, Scott Watanabe. What's up, brother? Yeah, that new intro, dude. We got a new outro too. Wait till the end, buddy. What are you doing today, Scott? Tell us what you're doing up there in Boise, Idaho, my friend. Yeah, ooh, Scott's a theater kid as well, and I'm not surprised to hear that. Scott's got a lot of personality, a lot of character to him. That is for sure. Glad you're up, my friend. Good to see you. So, Michael Lombard, what are you doing, my friend? Doing a little rucking?
Yeah, warmed up the upper body a little bit, and with some pull-ups. And now we're going to go and we're doing one of my oldest and noblest habits that has helped me out on the road, helped me out, still helps me to this day, helped me recover. Yeah, we'll go do some laps around the old hood.
I've been to the Lombard Hood in Buca.
Yeah, you've been down here.
Buda.
We're gonna lock it down.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Got a chance to see the place.
Yeah, it's a nice
Michael
spot,
likes
plenty of room to walk around.
That's what he likes. He likes being in the dark.
Sun's pumping.
Yeah, it is. So, Nick, you and I are both stretching today, man. And I'm telling you, like, we don't do this enough. How much time do you spend just stretching as an endurance athlete?
This is where it gets funny because I tell people that I probably work out about 2.5 hours a day on average.
Do you really? 2.5? Dude, that's a lot of time.
Well, a good 90 minutes of that is rehab, prehab, yoga, stretching, putting Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Yeah.
At the very least, I do a 20-minute range of motion warm-up, which you're going to see me doing in a minute. Right now, I'm just doing some activation exercises, get the muscles to actually wake up. And at the end of my runs and workouts, I do about a 20 to 25-minute yoga stretch. But I'll also most nights, I do about a 25-minute yoga stretch before bed. So as broken as I am, like, all the physical activity I do is what just keeps me able to do physical activity.
So this is interesting because I think that, I think this is probably common is most of us, especially dudes, when we were younger, we would work out, we would play basketball, football, we would do sports or whatever. And I remember hardly ever stretching. In fact, I don't know that I really did a lot of stretching until I got to college, and they started to stretch us out in college, like in basketball. Prior to that, I really didn't do hardly any stretching before or after playing basketball. I just kept going. And I think a lot of
20 years and I never stretched.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us now, we think, oh, I just need 30 minutes to go work out. I need 30 minutes to whatever. But man, it's like if you only just go work out for 30 minutes and you don't stretch at this point, especially in our age, mid 40s, mid 30s, late 30s, early 50s, whatever age people are that are trying to get back into it and they don't take the time to stretch, it's not the same. it's not the same. That's at least how I feel like, And so even though, we're not doing a lot of like strenuous work right now, like this is actually pretty important being old to be able to try to do this. And as you can see, I'm not very flexible at all. I'm just trying to get back into it and work it out. But it's really important.
That's where, even the word stretch sometimes gets people confused because they think it's some old static stretch model and then, they get hurt and they don't feel good, they don't do it again.
Yeah.
It's mobility and range of motion for guys like us and just making sure that the body parts that you can't be at our age and not have neglected things.
Oh, well, I have neglected things, man. I'll tell you. And like I really started to feel it like in my hips, my hip flexors, hamstrings, things are really tight. And a lot of people don't also realize that back pain is almost always the result of tightness, And
It's tightness in the hips, weakness in the butt. I mean, we share a lot of these same symptoms, and then of course you could be like me, which is a YouTube self corrector. And as I do, I end up working on correcting the wrong things. So I'm just like balance after balance after balance.
Yeah. Well, and when you think about it too, like if people are getting back into stretching and working out right now, and they have limited range of motion, I think it's easy to give up. It's easy to just be like, well, I just can't do this anymore, which is such a defeating attitude. And I think that you got to fight against that as much as you can, not to.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Yoga, they say start where just be where you are, start from where you are, and when you don't know better, that's hard to stomach. You go in there as a competitive guy, and you hear that, and you're like, I should be able to do better. When you can't, I just assume something's wrong with me. But
right,
it takes time. And I mean, after 45 years of not doing something, it's not going to click on day one.
You can't flip the switch. Scott says he played an hour and a half of b-ball on Saturday morning. Good for you, first of all, Scott. But says he's still hurting. It's definitely a stretch day. And Scott, I don't know if I could even play an hour and a half of basketball at this point. Even though I love basketball, I don't think I could probably go more than about 15, 20 minutes. The cardio is just not there right now. Although Scott's former military, he's tough-minded. He can push himself through, I'm sure, and do all that kind of stuff. But this is what we're going to talk about today is the idea of creating habits. And I know for myself, it's hard to create habits for me just to get started because I'm not a very disciplined person by nature. I don't have a lot of intrinsic motivation, which is why I'm so excited to be doing this with you guys. Because at least once a week, we're getting together. And now I put it on my calendar. Every day from 11 to 1, I'm taking time off. I got to eat something. And that gives me time to go and do some sort of workout, whether it's a walk, actually going to the gym, and it gives me time to clean up a little bit afterwards. And I just built it in, and I just make up a little bit of time at night after my kids go to bed because I'm a night owl. I'm kind of a thinker at night. And so I just worked it into my schedule to say I'm not going to do this every day. And I think that's really critical that people figure out a way to start creating the habits, whether it's having people help them out, putting it on their calendar, whatever it might be.
I found nothing more powerful than being consistent. And if it's important, you got to schedule it. And also about what you said, if you got to do a few things at night later, for me, adding this extra time in my life, it kind of forces me to be intentional with the time that I have. So if there's something that, doesn't require a lot of brain power, I don't do that at 10 in the morning anymore. I do that at the end of the day, and I focus my attention where it belongs because I am adding time to my day and complexity to my day. It's not that we don't have enough time to work out. It's we usually just don't want to sacrifice little moments in between to get there.
Right. And, some people have habits, and I know some people in my family, not me as much, but have the habit of watching a lot of TV, streaming things on Netflix, which is, it's totally fine, actually. If you take some of that time and get on the floor while you're watching and stretch or do some crunches, do some, some squats. I mean, you can take that time that you're currently streaming, some show of some sort, trying to kind of veg and do a little stretching, I mean, that's totally fine to do that.
When it comes to habits, I know this is what's crazy about, like, when you were mentioning it with the mobility stuff and and Nick, you talking about the body responding to consistency. Yeah. Like when it comes to like losing weight in general, or like, if that's what your goal is, you're trying to get back to whatever you were in college, like you got to think about how many years it took you to get to get to the certain point you're at. And it's going to take you almost that same amount of time to crawl out of that hole. But when it comes to habits, it is like it's always unconventional. Like people think that they need to like be on this routine, like they need to specifically go to the gym. But after, from Goggins' first book, Can't Hurt Me, and even from this book about triathlon I'm reading, like when it comes to training for Ironman, like something like an Ironman or even something like a marathon, like if you're like most people who are training for these events are just regular people, like you've got jobs, whether it's Monday through Friday or, you're working, like you're working like everybody else. Like you're not a professional athlete. So how do you get the training in? You have to fit it in how it matches your lifestyle. So if you're training for Ironman, that might mean, you live 25 miles from work. Well, guess what? There's your time
You're
in the
biking.
saddle. Like
Yeah.
there's your bike figuring that out. And it's like, if you're somebody, yeah, if you got a family and kids, it's like, it might be putting your bike on the trainer in the living room and you're doing a Zwift workout while you're watching TV. Like, it seems psychotic and it seems weird, but you have to, if you have a desire to like
Yeah.
elevate your your fitness, elevate your where you're at physically, athletically, mentally. It requires putting those habits in the right, like, in unconventional places.
Yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely right. I love Matt says that another incredible way to help with range of motion is swimming. And Michael, I know you do a lot of swimming as well. It's low impact, obviously. It's great range of motion. It obviously requires a lot of strength to be able to do that. Nick, have you done a lot of swimming in your preparation as well?
Dude, no. And I say it like that because I live in Florida.
I thought you were about to say, dude, hell yeah.
And I have a pool, but I don't swim very often. And what's funny is, to me, triathlon's a four-letter word, and it's because of the swimming that I don't want to train for, and I have no excuse, none whatsoever.
Well, Michael's going to get you back on the swimming routine, which is good. Ooh, Scott Rask, my brother. I haven't seen you in a long time, my friend. Yeah, buddy, being consistent. Let me put that back up there. Yeah, how you eat, being active, rest, consistently, and setting goals, reaching goals. Man, I love that. Michael, you talk about that a lot. Sometimes you just got to get the next event on the calendar as quick as possible.
Yeah, stacking your calendar up. Yeah, it puts you. I mean, it forces the hand. Like, if you're somebody who's procrastinating, but you have a daunting, and it's very easy to procrastinate. But if you have a daunting task in front of you, like, it's whether it's half marathon, or like, if it's a daunting thing, it's always going to be glaring at you. So you can't put it off to the last minute. Like, that set of panic is just going to be like, oh my God, I'm gonna really be in a lot of pain if I don't do this right now, and I can't not do it because I'm doing it with friends of mine. I've already been talking about it, so you kind of set yourself up to not want to let yourself down by throwing it on the calendar.
Yeah, I need to do that because I've done Ironmines I've been done Tough Mudders for a while, and I didn't do one in 2023. I did not do one in 2023. I did two of them in 2022. And no, that's not true. I did one in 20. Hold on. I did two in 2023. Sorry, I didn't do one in 2024. I'm losing track of what year it is. It's almost 2025, people. It's crazy. But I didn't do one in 24, and I wish I had. I definitely wish I had done that. So there's one here in St. Louis in April.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, so part of the reason to have something on the calendar, it's not just to avoid what those marathon blues where you wake up the next day and you're like, wait, who am I? For me, at least, if you want to make it a lifestyle, I need to know what I'm doing after the event, before the event, because otherwise it's sort of like it's, yay, let's reward myself with ice cream today. Like, you got the big event, it's over, it's a thing. Yeah. And I'm like, but I don't train for races; they're just part of my lifestyle. So I need to make sure that I'm just, what is the next thing? What's just the next check mark?
Let's talk about that as well. How are you guys feeling about everything in terms of like RFK being in charge of HHS and talking about our food supply, talking about the pharmaceutical industry, and because I mean, you think about that also happens as well. We get into these really bad habits with the food that we eat. Now, obviously, the system is not set up for us to succeed, but that doesn't mean that we can't succeed. It just means we have to work a little harder right now. But how are you guys feeling about RFK potentially hopping in there to help out? You guys, is that positive? Are you skeptical? Where do you guys sit with all that? Not to be too political, but it's definitely. We're definitely a fat nation.
Yeah, I'd love to lead this, only because I'm very, very bullish on that stuff. Where I think it's a step in the right direction, but the thing is, I'm not going to get too hung up on that, and not get too like focused. Like, okay, finally, like the work is done. We got some of the right people who are going to enter the game, because that's the long term. And Goggins talks about this too, and he talks about it when confronting things like racism and other things out there. Like, the long game is the education, fixing people's minds, teaching them over the long term is how you're going to make these changes. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take quite a long time for any real change in that regard to work. So what can we do in the meantime? And it's kind of the same thing I tell drivers that I coach. And it's just, we can't overnight just
remove seed oils from our diet and do all these drastic, very restrictive things to our diet. You can't just do that off the rip and expect it to work. It's very unsustainable. It has a high failure rate. Like I'm very, I preach against fad diets, and it becomes a little bit of mental overload, which is why, like, when it comes to habit building, like we got to think short term. Like, what can we do right now? Like, we can't fix all the over processed foods. We can't just get that. Some people don't have the financial means to do it. So what can we do now? We could start with simple habits. You start with one thing, like, okay, look, get X number of protein, X number of grams of protein in your diet per day. Do that for a week, and then let's come back next week and reassess. So it's like, I'm all about the RFK stuff, but can't rest on like that small victory because it's going to take a while. So what can we do now? We gotta start just eating a few less calories and building in habits of getting an intentional movement, and then along the way, we can start. That's what happened with me. Like, I tried the fad diets; they don't work. And it's just eventually over time, you've just got to continue to stack these habits. And then once you get to a certain point mentally and within your discipline, then you're going to start eating a little bit differently, finding what's making you feel better, finding what food serves you. And from there, you kind of get towards that healthier route. But that's basically my opinion. Is like, I'm bullish on it, but we can't get too hype and be like, oh, they're going to take care of things for me. Like, we still got to like build some habits that take care of ourselves in the meantime.
Right. And I mean, I think the right answer at some point, again, it comes back to choice. Like, companies can make whatever foods they want to make. Obviously, there's some toxins that we should take a look at. I mean, there's like a lot of toxins in our food that are outlawed in every country except ours, and like New Zealand, some crazy stuff like that. But there should be a real push towards health over profits when it comes to our food supply overall, especially because we're not farmers anymore. Like, I don't have control. It's a lot harder to control the food that I actually get. I think there should be some regulation. But you're right, Michael. It's going to take a long time for that to actually come into play. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's something as simple as the amount of water that you get. Ooh, Pedro, what's up, buddy? Listen, every Tuesday, man, 6 a.m. Central. So just put it on your calendar. Just put it on your calendar, my friend. Put it on your calendar.
Throw it on the Cali.
That's right. That's
My
right.
unpopular opinion would be that God himself could be in charge of HHS, and it doesn't matter because it's individuals who are the problem.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
If the government actually provided useful information to people, and maybe they will. But beyond that, like, are we really talking about waiting for the government to save our fat asses? Come on. Like, that's not a political statement.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Scott says it well.
One thing that Michael said is right, which is crazy, that the healthiest food is the most expensive. The shit that costs the least to grow
yep, that's right.
is the most expensive. But I argue the fact that the information isn't out there. People who shit on social media aren't using it right. My Instagram feed is full of healthy food choices that look delicious and how to make them. My wife sends me idiot-proof recipes on TikTok all the time. The information is there if you want it, and you have to act on it. But if we really can't even allow social media to help us out, then we have gone around the bend.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's so many options out there. My wife and I, whenever the first time that we really focused on our health in our mid-30s, we started making cauliflower pizza every Friday night, because Friday night is like our pizza movie night for family. We would just order pizza and watch movies, which is a blast. And then we started making cauliflower pizzas, and they were actually delicious. They took a little longer, and took some ingredients that cost a little bit more. But the pizzas themselves were delicious, and we just have to get in the habit of saying, we're just going to do this. It's just worth it. We're going to do it, to make that happen. Look at Lombard out there in the park, outdoors, getting some sunlight coming up.
Do a few push-ups.
Living room, shoulder shrugs.
We are in a time when it comes to food, but like the cauliflower pizza, like that didn't exist. Back in like the 80s, 90s, when really these problems started like coming to fruition, like the options are there, it's like the better for you options, like, and people, and again, we can talk about the ingredient lists of certain products, and again, that's a long-term goal. But when there's a better for you product out there, and Peter Attia sums this up very, very well in his book Outlive, just like when it comes to a caloric deficit, like what being in a calorie deficit does for your body is better than, you know, eating whole food diets is obviously is like the long-term goal, but when you're in a caloric deficit, the good you're doing for your body and for your brain and how your body works is just such a resounding thing. Like, to be in a caloric deficit, what it does with helping the body fight off disease as it gets rid of visceral fat, like eliminating the visceral fat from your organs is like, it's the best thing you can do besides quitting smoking or something. Like, when visceral fat falls off your organs, like, your body's preventing itself from getting, you know, getting regularly sick and like developing other sorts of diseases like that. It just does so much good that you can't focus too much on ingredients. So when better for you options are out there, take it. Like, that's what it's all about.
That's what it came for me when I went to Cuba a couple of years ago. It was the first time I actually realized what it was to eat completely organic food. And when I came back to the States, I remember wanting, like, I couldn't wait to get like a greasy pizza. And when I did, it made me feel like shit. So ever since then, I realized organic isn't just a thing.
Yeah.
But I do what you just said is, like, you know, if I can make a better choice, I will. It's not like I only buy one thing. It's just trying to make the better choices for me. I'll tell you what, I used to get sick like 3-4 times a year. Now it might be once a year at best. And it's 100% the addition of simple exercise and the reduction of processed crap in my body that makes that difference.
Yeah, stay on the outside of the grocery store, everybody. Just stay on the outside. Just go on the outside. Don't go on the inside. Hey, just want to remind everybody, we got some swag. We got water bottles. We got all kinds of good stuff. Ironminds.io. You can go pick up your swag today. And go to the website, check things out. Pick something up there, sweatshirts, there's hats, there's all kinds of great stuff there. Gotta love that. Ironminds.io. Visit the website. Also, I don't know if people know about this. We did start a group on LinkedIn, the Iron Minds group. So if you search on LinkedIn for it, you can find it. We're going to build that up. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do with that. We're just getting started, folks. So if you got some ideas, but that's a way to encourage everybody. Put some posts in there, drop some pictures of stuff that you're doing, whether it's stretching, working out, cooking a healthy meal, drinking water, whatever it is. I think we just need to encourage everybody and really start to rally. And speaking of that, we're already planning the Broker Carrier Summit in Indy. I'm heading over to Indy in about 3 weeks to do our post scouting trip is what we call it, because we've already selected the hotel. Now we got to go and we'll look at signage and rooms, and our AV guys come to make sure we have all the stuff we need for that. And I'm telling you, this is a cool spot. It's downtown Indy. Now, Michael, there's a lot of places there where we can do walks and or little jogs. We got to figure something out for this. What do you guys have in mind? What do you think we ought to do?
Oh no, I'm on board with well, what's crazy is I'm going to scope the area. Send me the hotel it's at.
The Crown Plaza, the old Union Station, right downtown in Indy. So Union Station, Indy, you can find on maps.
I'm going to scope it out, because maybe I can, like we can collab on this. Like maybe there's a local gym, like whether it's a CrossFit gym, who wants to maybe even co-sponsor a little workout, or they co-sponsor. Like that. Yeah, like maybe they'd be about that. I'm gonna take a peek around that area and see if there's anybody who'd want to do it. But either way, there's no reason why not to wake up and do a little and just have a little 5K on the board, run, walk, getting that done, or even leading. I mean, Nick and I leading a group fitness workout, little open air body weight stuff. The weather should be decent there. April, right?
It should, yeah, it should. Yeah.
April,
May. It's a possibility. It gets a little bit cold, but listen, you just put a little jacket on, you'll be fine. But I think it's a good idea because we're there several mornings. I could see where maybe one morning we do a workout together, and you could do like some sample workouts, especially on the road. Easy stuff to do, or office type workouts, the range of motion things, things people can do in their home for people that work from home, especially. And then maybe another day we could do a walk around. I think that could be actually really cool to throw that together. Maybe we have the running people go a little early. The people that want to run can go early. The people that want to walk can go maybe just a touch later. Or we all get together and people just decide what they're going to do. But I think that's huge because, I mean, think about this. Truckers, especially on the road, it's hard to get out of the truck and do things that nobody is doing. And I bet at most of these truck stops, people aren't going out and running or walking like you were doing back when you trained for 5 marathons while driving truck full time. But they can. It's not like they can't. They just got to start thinking about it and doing it, you know?
Hell yeah.
You gotta have it planned. You gotta be intentional. You gotta know what to do, right?
Yeah.
Like where those go to. Even now, like I said, I woke up, my workout was broken. I'm like, okay, range of motion drills, go.
Yeah. You know, Michael, we need to get the Lombard 69 program on the Broken Carrier Summit website. We need to have like a health and fitness page on the BCS website, dude. What do you think about that? That idea just came to mind. That could be fire.
I mean, that's the future of freight, how I see it. I mean, any motor carrier, any brokerage, like it's got to be, you want to list that, it's got to be the tabs on your website. Like this, because I mean, it's the ultimate employee development. It's the ultimate way of a business showing that you care, because when you're an employee of a company, like you're working for that company, working to make them revenue, and the company pays you. But I think morally, from a business standpoint, a business, should want their employees mentally in a position to where they're wanting to work there. And so when you have that highlight on your own website out there with that sort of education, I mean, it's only a win. I think that's a great idea. We can get that's what I call, it's the ultimate habit building challenge. It's anything, like we just had our first truck driver complete it, and he built so many good habits. He's lost over 20 pounds. John Laretti, already. I mean, the guy crushed it, and he saw the benefits from it. So it's like no reason why not to put it on the BCS page.
Like you said, he's like, I'm going to continue all these habits now into lifestyle.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. I think it's going to go in the members only content on the BCS page for those who sign up for membership. We're going to give them access to the Lombard 69. We'll have to work that out, my friend. I think it's going to be a great addition to what we're doing to get people thinking about this. And we need to figure out, workouts and routines for drivers, because they obviously have a different schedule than most of the rest of us that are more office employees. So we'll have to figure out a couple different options for. Maybe we'll have the Lombard 69 trucking platform, and the Kling & Smith, I don't know, whatever number you want, 69 as well. We'll have some different programs for different people depending on what they're
mischievous.
Equally impressive. That's right. I like that. So we'll have to figure it out. All right, fellas. Hey, listen, we're 30 minutes in. We're having a good time. We're going to go ahead and call it for today. Let's have a great week out there, everybody. Remember, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. For Michael Lombard, Nick Kling & Smith, and myself, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the flip-flop. Stay healthy out there, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.